the nation's commercial capital. This is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, the President challenges the judiciary on internal reforms that focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians and restore public trust. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development directs the immediate suspension of Dana Airline pending safety and financial health audit 24 hours after Dana airplane skidded off the runway at Lagos Airport. The military set to descend on what is left of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the southeast, gives notice of offensive on the outlawed group. And All Progressives Congress wins more membership as defectors from other political parties join its fold in a massive rally held in Pantami Stadium in Gombe State.
On business news tonight, President Tinubu approves commencement of the consumer credit scheme, beginning with civil servants.
On sports news tonight, 22-time Grand Slam Rafael Nadal not sure if he will be able to play at next month's French Open as he continues his comeback from injury.
And from Abuja, the nation's capital, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission hands over 14 properties earlier forfeited to the federal government to the Enugu state government.
International news from London. The US Senate has approved a $95 billion foreign aid package that includes military support for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan.
Reform to restore your integrity and public trust. That seems to underscore the president's message to the judiciary today. President Bola Tinubu is urging that arm of government to seek new directions and focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians. The president gave this challenge to judicial officers at the National Judicial Summit in Abuja, where he was represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. Our correspondent, Emanuela Ekele, reports.
Top echelon of the judiciary in Nigeria have converged for the 2024 National Summit on Justice at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja. Vice President Kashim Shettima, Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwola, lead the three arms of government to the summit, which focuses on repositioning the justice system. The Minister of Justice and the President of the Nigerian Bar Association sets the tone for the discussion, which is the advancement of the sector and implementation of the national policy on justice.
The policy seeks to promote and protect human rights and access to justice, which are essential features of a functional justice system. It proposes critical and sustainable interventions in the implementation of statutory provisions, encouraging protection of human rights and access to justice.
The position of the judiciary is no less the position of any of the security agencies. Because if you do not deliberately invest in the judiciary, then you are ignoring the very fabric, the very foundation on which this country stands.
This call is buttressed by the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He underscores the importance of rebuilding the trust of Nigerians in the judiciary.
The quest for justice should not be a privilege reserved for the few, but a right accessible to all, regardless of their circumstances. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us to embark on a journey of comprehensive reform to ensure that justice is not only dispensed, but also perceived to be dispensed fairly and impartially.
The Senate President has some recommendations for the judiciary, especially as it concerns political cases.
We must try and curb the misuse of ex parte orders in political matters, particularly by our judges, by the judiciary. To curb this, it is imperative that the National Judicial Council, the NJC, exercises stringent oversight with recommend prompt and decisive punishment. Oh, I was going to say for judges, but maybe for the officers involved, who are found to abuse this authority in any manner.
President Bola Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, urged the judicial officers to work towards strengthening the judiciary and be accountable to Nigerians.
The impact of their reform efforts should be visible in terms of improved access to justice, strengthen integrity of justice sector institutions, increase timeliness and quality of justice delivery, accountability, and transparency of the system.
The focal point at the 2024 National Justice Summit is accountability and transparency. Many Nigerians are expecting the arms of government will match words with actions. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
To aviation matters, the Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority, the NCAA, has suspended the air operator certificate of Dana Air following the runway excursion involving its MD-82 aircraft at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport yesterday, April the 23rd. This decision comes after the Minister of Aviation, Mr. Festus Keyamo, asked the agency to initiate the suspension of the airline's fleet until a comprehensive audit is conducted on the airline. In an interview with Channels Television, the acting director of the NCAA, Mr. Chris Najomo, explained that the NCAA has initiated an in-house compliance assessment to ascertain the cause of the incident, while Dana Airline has been ordered to refund monies to all prospective passengers.
You may recall that yesterday morning at about 8:25 a.m., Dana from Abuja to Lagos with 83 passengers and 6 crew members landed 18 left in Lagos and skidded off after landing into the grassy area. However, because of what the occurrences has been happening with Dana, this is not the first time, it's not the second time, and for us to do our purview, I had to, of course, first of all, suspend the AOC of Dana so that they will carry out audits, safety audits on the airline, safety audit, and also carry out financial health audit and a systemic audit to make sure that why is this happening all the time. I cannot say per se what the problem is right now because investigation is still going on. And until that investigation comes out, we cannot pinpoint what has happened. So I cannot preempt that. The airline needs to refund the passengers. But you know our policy for refund, if you buy your ticket online, it takes 2 weeks. So passengers will have to wait. That's what our provisions and that's what the law says, regulations, it will take 2 weeks. So passengers should be aware that it might take 2 weeks for them to be refunded. Some passengers will be refunded, some will be, they'll probably get in contact with some other airlines there where they can rebook them and do the needful.
In Rivers State, 2 commissioners redeployed to new ministries following a minor cabinet reshuffle by Governor Siminalayi Fubara have resigned their positions. First to announce his resignation was former Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Professor Zaccheaus Adango, who explained that he chose to leave the government to preserve his reputation, citing interference with his duties as the Attorney General. He alleges that the governor had directed him not to defend or oppose suits filed against the Office of the Attorney General and the government of Rivers State by individuals sponsored by the state government. He also rejected his redeployment as Commissioner for Special Duties and wished Governor Fubara's administration well. Hours after the resignation of Mr. Adango, another commissioner, Mr. Isaac Kamalu, also exited the cabinet. Also in a letter to the Secretary to the Rivers State government, Mr. Tami Danagogo, Mr. Kamalu rejected his redeployment from the Finance Ministry to the Ministry of Employment, Generation and Economic Empowerment. Mr. Kamalu cited absence of peace in Rivers State despite the peace pact mediated by the President last December, explaining that it's impossible for him to give his best in an atmosphere of rancor. This would be the second time both would resign from the cabinet in about 4 months. Now to security in the southeast, where the militaries are showing residents of that region that troops of Operation Udoka are committed to providing adequate and effective security for all law-abiding residents. A general officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Hassan Dada, who is also the force commander of Operation Udoka, described the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, as a group of persons who do not mean well for the people of the region. He was speaking in Enugu when he hosted some defense correspondents on operational tour to the southeast.
The streets are busy as residents of Enugu go about their normal duties on a Monday morning, unlike in the past when they observed the sit-at-home order imposed by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. With Operation Udoka in place, the general officer commanding 82 Division of the Nigerian Army and force commander of the operation laments the number of deaths recorded due to the activities of IPOB.
If you look at the number of people that have been kidnapped, ransoms paid, people killed, a good number of it from the statistics available shows they are actually from the southeast. So what fight are we really talking about?
The military reassures residents of the area of adequate security and reaffirms the commitment to flushing out remnants of IPOB.
And we will leave no stone unturned to make sure that we restore the glory the Southeast Nigeria is known for.
From Enugu to Imo, peace appears to have returned, attested to by the beehive of activities at the popular Banana Junction in Olu East. The garrison commander of Sector 4 in Olu and some residents speak on the situation.
Before we are running in this Banana Junction, we don't have rights in this Banana Junction, but I thank God that the governor of Imo State has done it for us.
Once here to all here, that's no problem.
The story is somewhat different in Osumogu, the hotbed of IPOB activities in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State. Parts of the town appear deserted despite the presence of military personnel who have reclaimed 8 local government areas previously occupied by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra.
Now, they have been in this place since 2017. So it has been like a fortress where they have become fully established. So because of that, they do everything possible to ensure that they are not dislodged from this location. So that's why the fight is on. And this location gives them an easy access to the expressway, that is Onitsha-Owerri Expressway.
Although the sit-at-home order by the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra is no longer being enforced, the military are leaving no stone unturned to restore the peace and progress of the southeast.
Meanwhile, bandits have killed at least 3 people and abducted 8 others during a fresh attack on a village in Beningwari local government area of Kaduna State. This comes just 5 days after 23 people were killed by bandits at Anguwan Danko community in the eastern part of Beningwari local government. The police authorities and the state government are yet to comment on the incident, but the Secretary General of Beningwari Emirate Progressive Union, Abdurrashid Abarshi, told Channels Television that the bandits attacked the village at about 3 p.m. on Tuesday. He said the bandits had camped at a nearby spot on Monday night to perfect their operation. In part 2 after the break, the All Progressives Congress wins more membership as defectors from other political parties join its fold in Gombe State. Please stay with us.
It's not dark, it's bright. Black is bold. Black is every color, all together. My thing, your thing, our thing mixed together. Black shines brightest.
It's human to feel pain. Ease the pain with Easedol for fast relief from pains and fever. Easedol comes in easy-to-swallow tablets for adults and suspension for children. Easedol, ease the pain. A product of May and Baker. If symptoms persist after 2 days, please see.
The Duchess International Hospital caters to every aspect of the family's health needs. A one-stop shop for maternity and child health services, emergency medicine and critical care, medical and surgical subspecialties, dental and eye care, and a range of other subspecialties and services, all available at a single location right here in the heart of Ikeja. And it really doesn't matter if you're paying out of pocket using your HMO or private insurance. We focus completely on providing that world-class affordable healthcare for all the family at all times.
We are rooted in tradition, yet we're boundless. Shooting for the sky with eyes on the prize, inspired by wonders of the world. We don't walk to ancestral beats, no. We vibe to the rhythm, stepping to the future with us, beyond conventions. Ayato Siwojo. We are Goldberg Black. Same rules, new rhythm.
Hello, this is Premium Pension. How can we help?
Our experts work behind the scenes, enabling our members grow wealth to secure a premium tomorrow. We see your hard work and we make your money work hard for you. We are growing with you in commitment and service. Leveraging technology to meet your demands. Secure your future and pave way for the next generation. Embracing diversity with firm roots across the 36 states of Nigeria and the FCT. Premium Pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The president challenges the judiciary on internal reforms that focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians and restore public trust. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development directs the immediate suspension of Dana Airline pending safety and financial health audit 24 hours after Dana airplane skidded off the runway at the Lagos airport. The military is set to descend on what is left of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, in the southeast, gives notice of offensive on the outlawed group. And All Progressives Congress wins more membership as defectors from other political parties join its fold in a massive rally held in Pantami Stadium in Gombe State. Ahead of the local government elections coming up on Saturday, April the 27th in Gombe State, the state chapter of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, has held its final campaign rally to woo voters. Flags and other party emblems were presented to the 11 local government chairmanship candidates by the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje. The event attracted a mammoth crowd at the Pantami Stadium in the state capital.
It's the grand finale of the All Progressives Congress local government elections campaign rally holding at the Pantami Stadium in Gombe State. Governor Inuwa Yahya arrives in the company of the APC national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, and other party stalwarts amid cheers from the crowd. Next, defectors to the APC from other political parties are received by Mr. Ganduje. After which he hands the party's flags to the 11 chairmanship candidates, urging them to fly the flags to victory in the forthcoming council election.
What is happening today is a product of hard work. It is not coincidence or wishful thinking. And it is in line with our cardinal objectives in the All Progressive Congress, APC, where we prioritize development and results. I am filled with joy and gratitude to Governor Inuwa Mohammed Yahya, who has made today possible and has placed APC in positive light once again. This is also a testament, and some sub-nationals are keying into the mission and the vision of the Tinubu renewed agenda. That is commitment to uplifting every Nigerian in all ramifications.
For the state governor, his administration's transformative policies are impacting the lives of the masses in all 11 local governments. The reason he believes the party stands a bright chance in the election.
Inshallah will be chairman of the 11 local governments of Gombe State. Come Saturday, the 27th of April, inshallah, because we are going to sweep all. We shall make it all together because we are one solid family and we are united. And we've shown evidence of unity, evidence of capacity, and evidence of ability to move around and work hard and win the election.
Meanwhile, Governor Yahya also commissioned a bypass and named it after the APC national chairman Abdullahi Ganduje as part of his government's commitment to improving the lives of the masses.
The National Broadcasting Commission, the NBC, says it plans to review all NBC codes for broadcasting stations in Nigeria to address national economic challenges. This was made known by the newly appointed Director General, Mr. Charles Ibuebe, while answering questions from journalists at a meeting with chief executive officers and other top management staff of broadcasting stations in Nigeria in Abuja. Mr. Ibuebe also expressed his disapproval of a court ruling in January of 2023 that prevented the NBC from imposing fines on broadcasting stations.
We will have a code review that's more informed. I promise you that. We will have a code review that we will have experts in the room. We will have people that are informed. You, your representatives, chosen representatives that are very well grounded on the issues to be discussed will be in the room. They will make recommendations, and those recommendations, after debates, will be, and they're carried through, you will see them replicated in the code. I can tell you that for free. If we're going to change the broadcast industry, if we're going to assure some growth in that industry, we will have to find out what the present issues are and address them. So it's not going to just be a rollover of what we have. In some cases where even some of these issues you have identified leads to infractions, we are more understanding, and then we profile issues, and when we basically collaborate.
So let's head to the nation's capital, where Victoria Lonchon is standby to give us the very latest from Abuja studios. Hello, Victoria. Great to see you.
Good to see you too, Ayo. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has handed over 14 properties initially forfeited to the federal government and now ceded to the government and people of Enugu State. The transfer of the properties to Enugu State Governor, Mr. Peter Mbah, was performed by the Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyode, at the corporate headquarters of the Commission.
The handover ceremony of 14 properties to the Enugu State Government holds in the conference room of the EFCC headquarters and has in attendance officials of the Anti-Graft Agency, the Enugu State Governor, and members of his cabinet. Before the ceremony, the EFCC chairman reveals that the journey to this day began in 2007 and is proof of the mutually beneficial relationship between the federal government and states.
So we are looking at about 17 years when this matter has been on. Eventually, some of the properties were forfeited, and since then, EFCC have been managing those properties, even though quite a number of those properties, the titles have been revoked by the Enugu State government as well.
Governor Peter Mbah expresses gratitude for the handover. Thanks the President for making it possible for the properties to be returned to the government and people of Enugu State.
Without the proactiveness and the speed at which he acted to our request to cede these assets back to the people and government of Enugu State, we wouldn't have been here today.
Then it is time for the handover. Documents are signed and the handover is completed. Outside the building, Mr. Peter Mbah thanks the EFCC chairman and the commission for ensuring that the people of his state reclaim their common patrimony.
The assets that were forfeited to the federal government now being handed over to Enugu State for the use and benefit of the people of Enugu State. Those properties would be used for the benefit of the people of Enugu State. All the assets without any exception, and they would be deployed to optimal use for the benefit of the people of Enugu State.
The properties comprise houses, transmission equipment for radio and television stations, a building for medical operations, among others.
Meanwhile, the EFCC has filed a notice of withdrawal to discontinue an appeal against an order of a Kogi High Court, restraining it from arresting the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Mr. Yahaya Bello. In the notice filed on April 22, the EFCC said the withdrawal is predicated on the fact that events have overtaken the appeal. The Commission also admits that the appeal was filed out of time allowed by law. And staying with legal matters, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos has adjourned indefinitely the suit filed against the First Bank Holdings by the bank's shareholder Olusegun Onagoruwa, seeking to stop the annual general meeting of the bank. Justice Akintayo Aluko adjourned the matter till further notice to allow the Lagos Division of the Court of Appeal to hear and determine an appeal filed by the Central Bank of Nigeria seeking to join the suit as an interested party. Mr. Onagoruwa had filed an application urging the court for an order to stop the now-cancelled extraordinary general meeting of FBN Holdings earlier scheduled to be held on April 30, 2024. And still ahead on the news at 10, the President has approved commencement of the first phase of the Consumer Credit Scheme, beginning with the civil service. That's in business news. To join us again.
Susie likes to live life on her own terms. And with her Visa prepaid card from First Bank, she has no worries shopping abroad or paying locally, as her card comes in USD or Naira variant, and she enjoys the liberty of funding her card as she desires. Susie got her Visa prepaid card from the First Bank branch nearest to her. It's valid for 3 years and can be personalized to suit her lifestyle. First Bank Visa prepaid card can be used on any payment channel, ATM, POS, and web. And if you're a corporate business organization, the card can be used as your budget card to sort out business expenses. In addition, the card can be co-branded to showcase your business. So, get a First Bank Visa prepaid card from any First Bank branch and enjoy a budget card that suits you. You first. First Bank.
Enjoy the delicious creamy goodness of Cowbell. With Vitarich and vitamin B9, which supports brain development.
Cowbell, so creamy, so good.
Nivea Pearl and Beauty Deodorant. With natural pearl extracts and avocado oils for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care with delicate fragrances. Feel the power of pearls. Nivea Pearl and Beauty for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
The future belongs to the dreamers, to the doers, to those who are not afraid of the side hustle. It's for those who are ready to turn their passion into something big. And to help keep you revitalized and inspired, Top Tea is with you every step of the way. You are made for more. Find your inspiration. Top Tea. Big round bags of flavor.
We don't like to eat better, more nutritious meals, more veggies, but we want it tasty and easy too. Knorr Cubes, that's the secret. Made with real ingredients like chicken, parsley, and garlic, and enriched with iron, so your meals are better for you and more delicious too. That's the cocoa. Let's give it some accolades. Change your world by changing what's on your plate.
Do you know that you can now print all your essential items for events without even having to leave your home? It's the Casprint Combo Deal for all events.
Yes!
Weddings, conferences, birthdays, burials, etc. Starting from 495,000 Naira only. You get 50 invites, 50 A2 size posters, 50 16-page brochures, 1 large backdrop banner, 1 roll-up banner, 50 jotters with pens, and 50 souvenir carrier bags. Whatever event you're planning, we can adjust to your budget and quantities. Just send your pictures and other information through WhatsApp, and we shall send a design for your approval. Approve your design, and we will produce with super high-quality digital print technology. We can even arrange delivery to your location. Call us now on 0913-156-5016 or 0812-794-9323 or visit our social media pages. Casprints, digital printing at super speed.
We are rooted in tradition, yet we're boundless. Shooting for the sky with eyes on the prize, inspired by wonders of the world. We don't walk to ancestral beats, no. We vibe to the rhythm. Stepping to the future with us, beyond conventions, and embrace the difference. Ayato Siwojo. We are Goldberg Black. Same rules, new rhythm.
Welcome back. Well, let's take it back to the story on the National Broadcasting Commission's plans to review all NBC codes for broadcast stations in the country in order to address the national economic challenges. Now, the Director General, Mr. Charles Ebwebe, while answering questions from journalists at a meeting with chief executives and other top management staff of broadcasting stations in Nigeria, expressed his disapproval of a court ruling in January 2023 that prevented the NBC from imposing fines on broadcast stations as well.
We would have a code review that's more informed. I promise you that. We will have a code review that we will have experts in the room. We will have people that are informed. You, your representatives, chosen representatives that are very well grounded on the issues to be discussed will be in the room. They will make recommendations, and those recommendations, after debates, will be, and they're carried through, you will see them replicated in the code. I can tell you that for free. If we're going to change the broadcast industry, if we're going to assure some growth in that industry, we will have to find out what the present issues are and address them. So it's not going to just be a rollover of what we have. In some cases where even some of these issues you have identified leads to infractions, we are more understanding, and then we profile issues, and we basically collaborate with the station owners to try to put in a middle ground that works for everybody. So what I'm trying to say in effect is that we will feel your pain, and we're open to dialogue on ways that we can help, knowing that we also go through the same. In fact, since I came in, it has become more stringent in terms of our IGR remittance to the government has increased. And this is in spite of the fact that there are historical indebtedness to the NBC. So we find ourselves in a very tight position ourselves.
Here in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has unveiled the Eco Cares intervention program for vulnerable residents in the state. Now, the governor, who flagged off the initiative at Alausa in Ikeja, says the objective of the program is to ensure that food will not continue to be a challenge to Lagosians. He also assures the people that the new minimum wage will be announced soon. The flag-off ceremony of the Lagos State Social Intervention Program, called Eco Cares, is a promise kept by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to cater for the well-being of Lagosians through the distribution of food palliatives and medical outreach programs across the senatorial districts in the state. Governor Sanwo-Olu joins other State Executive Council members at the Lagos House Alausa in Ikeja for the occasion. And to provide a background to the intervention scheme is the State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, who says Eco Cares is an aggregate of all the measures designed to ease the pain of vulnerable citizens in the state who have no one else to turn to for assistance.
All we are here to witness today is just the official launch of Eco Cares, a testament that this administration will break all barriers to make life easy.
Besides the Onja Eco, known as Lagos Food, a subsidized Sunday market initiative, and the Eco Cares food palliative is to support 500,000 households. Governor Sanwo-Olu urged stakeholders involved in the exercise to distribute the items to those in need of the package.
In the last 6 weeks, we have gone ahead to package foodstuffs. We've packaged edibles into sack, which we will be distributing through either local government, through the CDCs and CDAs, through the unions, through all of the various stakeholders that we have, religious bodies, and will ensure that these things get to the vulnerable in our society.
A member of the Special Dispensation Advisory Committee on Social Intervention, set up by the state government to monitor the program, appeals to the people not to lose their lives because of palliative.
Those who are to benefit have been identified. There will be no hoarding. They will reach out to them. Citizens must not lose their lives because they want to eat.
Beneficiaries of the food scheme commend the state government for the support.
With the different interventions from Mr. Governor, 20% increase in our salaries, those workers in the public sector since last year. Then also with the 35,000 naira palliative relief money that has been given to us, so we want to appreciate him.
Every little way that the government can touch the lives of people is encouraged, and we are in support of it, and that's why we are here to say thank you to the state government, and that more is required.
The highlight of the program is the symbolic flag-off by Governor Sanwo-Olu, where he opened some of the food packs to showcase the items in there. And the Deputy Governor, Quadri Hamzat, alongside other residents, also took advantage of the healthcare intervention to know their health status. In a move to check flooding in Uyo, a 1.3-kilometer underground concrete flood control tunnel and road project have been commissioned in the Akwa Ibom state capital. Now, the project was inaugurated by former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, who has lauded Governor Umar Eno for what he termed his focused leadership and commitment to the welfare of the people through the execution of people-oriented projects.
Your Excellency, with this intervention today,
the 1.3-kilometer underground flood control tunnel at Atiku Abubakar Avenue in Uyo is a major step by the Umar Eno administration to eradicate the menace of flooding in the state capital. Apart from the underground concrete tunnel, the project also comprises the reconstruction of a section of Atiku Abubakar Avenue with walkways, drainage and solar street lights, and reconstruction of the 1-kilometer Afaha Ube Road. The Commissioner for Works and Fire Service, Professor Eno Ibanga, gives an overview of the project.
Your Excellency, this project defloods the whole vicinity of this area and takes off the water. After that, we had to restore this road to what it's supposed to be. We have had to restore 1.3 kilometers with surface drains and sidewalks, 1.3 meter sidewalk throughout the length of the road. And besides that, we have introduced street lights in this section of the road so that at night you don't even need anything in terms of lighting. And the security of this place is not guaranteed.
Governor Eno is elated at the timely completion of the project. He assures of his commitment to a better life for the people.
And as some of you remember, we left the church and then came to inspect this road. It was completely impassable, and so we decided to intervene. So today, we want to thank Hensec Global for the work he has done. Want to thank the community for cooperating with him. What this shows is that all of us can collectively run the state. The state is not just run by the governor, but anyone from anywhere. Anything you see that you believe government should intervene, you can bring it to our attention.
My God has given us victory.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan describes the project as a strategic step by a focused governor who means well for his people. He says the governor has demonstrated capacity and commitment to make life better for the people.
No, for us who are political office holders, especially when you are privileged to be a governor or a president, we assess the person through different segments. After the first 100 days, people say, let us know what the governor has done, what the president has done in first 100 days. The assessment of your first 100 days, nobody expects you to initiate a major project and complete in 100 days. We are doing this the honor and glory of God.
The drainage project is part of measures taken by the state government to mitigate the effect of the expected heavy rainfall earlier predicted by the Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET.
And so we decided...
Africa's growth is below the pre-COVID-19 pandemic rate, but remains the second highest globally, says the new economic report on Africa by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa. Most importantly, the report urges leaders to turn the tide of poverty and structural unemployment on the continent. Our correspondent, Ayola Kasim, tells us more.
In Africa, poverty, inequality, food insecurity, and unemployment continue to be aggravated, with 476 million people, or about one-third of the continent's population, is estimated to be in poverty in 2024. That is 50 million more than the number recorded in 2019. And with an average real GDP growth below the continent's potentials in recent years, financing development by countries in the region is an ongoing challenge. And And when this is mixed with the issues of climate change, even those in the know still have questions about how Africa can achieve its green mandate.
And now the cost is almost close to 5% of GDP for almost most of the African countries. And the question is, how do we deal with this kind of situation? Most of the resources, which are environmental resources, are not coming as fast as people need, while they are still addressing the other issues. And meaning that there is a high cost for not having the investment grade, meaning you cannot raise money cheaply. So how do you finance development at the same time raise money to finance climate? And that's where you find the intersection of what this one means.
The experts tell us the resources to achieving a just transition is possible because Africa has the potential to leapfrog. But to be able to take that big jump, countries need to promote low-carbon development pathways with gradual transition away from their fossil needs, leverage critical minerals, shift to collaborative governance, and harness frontier technologies.
We just also highlight in the report, this cannot be done as business as usual. So while we combine different elements, and perhaps none of the elements alone is new, together it's a new approach and it will require a major transformation, transformational leadership, and also systemic changes in areas of economic governance. It will have to, learn from the past experience how to effectively deploy and utilize natural resources. And human endowments and human capital will need to be developed also. And of course, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement can play a major role in this transition.
Like in any transition, there will be winners and losers. And we need to make sure that we are taking sufficient measures to take into account the impact of different parts of the population and what does it mean, and the incentives to actually, accelerate the type of private sector and industries and innovations that can capitalize on our unique resources for green transition, and at the same time enable this transition to be smooth for the sectors that need to adapt.
Of course, many here know that the journey towards a just transition is not easy, but acknowledge it is a necessary one. The journey that Africa must take to ensure its citizens are not left behind. From the UNECA headquarters in Addis Ababa, Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
Business News is up next with Joker Rogers.
Banking so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Ayatunde. And we begin with some good news coming from the presidency. President Bola Tinubu has approved the takeoff of the consumer credit scheme in line with this directive to expand access to Nigerians. The initiative, in collaboration with financial institutions and cooperatives nationwide, aims to broaden consumer credit availability through access to goods and services upfront, with an opportunity to pay back responsibly over time. The scheme, which is managed by the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Credit Corp, will be rolled out in phases, beginning with the civil servants and later other members of the public. Employed Nigerians who are interested can visit the portal on www.creditcorp.ng to express interest before the deadline of May 15th. Well, more dormant mining licenses have been revoked by the federal government due to a lack of adherence to the mining policy. The Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Adele Alake, told a news conference in Abuja today that a total of 924 permits were revoked, including 528 exploration licenses, 20 mining leases, 101 quarry licenses, and 273 small-scale mining licenses. He said 1,663 licenses were revoked in 2023 due to failure to pay statutory charges and dues to the government. Well, the domestic equities market ended midweek trading deeper into the red as the shares of MTN Nigeria and 18 other losers pushed the market's month-to-date loss to minus 6.2%. Laddie Williams has more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. Well, the midweek trading session ended in negative territory as the bear tightens its grip on the market further, and we lost the 99,000 level today in this midweek trading session, 1.20% down for the all-share index. We see profit-taking continuing in this market. The market cap is at 55 trillion naira. Let's look at the market mover today. MTN Nigeria share price lost about 22 naira 40 kobo, taking the second place in the top 5 losers countout for today, closing at 201 naira 60 kobo. Let's look at the sectoral performance now. We see the banking counter again down. The trend that started towards the end of March has continued, taking the banking counter index from over 1,000 to about 762 points, 0.83%. That's the drop that we have today. Consumer goods, 0.05%. But for this banking counter, we've seen this trend continue for the most part. And definitely on the minds of investors, I'm sure they're wondering, where is the bottom for this banking counter? And we see the oil and gas counter unchanged at this point. So that's the stock market report. Again, it's bearish.
Thank you, Laddie. We close with the global market figures for Wednesday.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Many thanks, Joke. U.S. President Joe Biden has signed a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. President Biden says that the U.S. will right away send fresh weapons and equipment to help Ukraine fight Russia's invasion. Here's Simon Pusey with other international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. The US Senate has approved a $95 billion foreign aid package that includes military support for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. The Senate backed the measure passed by the US House of Representatives on Saturday. It includes $61 billion in military aid for Ukraine, which the Pentagon says can start being delivered to the war-torn nation within days. It passed in a bipartisan vote of 79 to 18. Mr. Biden hailed its passage in a statement calling it critical legislation that will make our nation and world more secure, while other lawmakers also hailed the result.
The conflicts we see right now in Europe, in the Middle East, and the tensions of the Indo-Pacific will go a long way in shaping the balance of power between democracy and autocracy in the decades to come. And the consequences for America's long-term security will be profound.
For months, our friends have watched to see whether America still had the strength that won the Cold War or the resolve that has underpinned peace and prosperity literally for decades. Our enemies have tested whether the arsenal of democracy is, in fact, built to endure. Well, tonight, the Senate will send a clear message.
The UN's human rights chief has said he is horrified by the destruction of Gaza's Nasser and al-Shifa hospitals and the reports of mass graves being found at the sites after Israeli raids. Volker Turk called for independent investigations into the deaths. Palestinian officials said they had exhumed 283 bodies at Nasser, some with their hands tied. It is not clear how they died or when they were buried. Israel's military said claims that it buried bodies were baseless. A Russian deputy defense minister has been accused of taking bribes and remanded in custody by a court in Moscow. Timur Ivanov, who denies the charges, is accused of accepting bribes on a particularly large scale. Appointed to the defense ministry in 2016, Mr. Ivanov has been responsible for Russia's military infrastructure projects. Activists have long criticized the levels of alleged corruption in Russia. However, such high-profile cases have been rare since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. Meanwhile, a huge fire has broken out at an oil facility in Russia after an attack by Ukrainian drones. Ukraine's intelligence service said its drones hit 2 facilities in the Smolensk region, both owned by Russian oil giant Rosneft. Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, has said the country will continue to build overwhelming and the strongest military power to protect its sovereignty. Kim said a series of military exercises by the US military in the region this year, starting with live fire drills conducted with what she called the South Korean puppet military gangsters, are driving the regional security environment into a dangerous turmoil. The US and South Korean militaries have been conducting a range of drills with greater scale and intensity in recent months. Hundreds of thousands of Argentines have taken to the streets of Buenos Aires in an anti-government march against budget cuts to public universities, the biggest protest yet against President Javier Milei's austerity measures. The demonstrations are the latest example of rising tensions over spending cuts that are helping undo a deep fiscal deficit but causing hardship in the real economy. In the union-backed marches in the capital and beyond, banners were held aloft in the southern autumn sunshine reading, "Defend the public universities, studying is a right," and "Up with the budget, down with Milei's plan." A dramatic orange haze has descended over Athens as clouds of dust have blown in from the Sahara Desert. It is one of the worst episodes to hit Greece since 2018, according to officials. Greece has already been struck by similar clouds in late March and early April, which also covered areas of Switzerland and southern France. The skies are predicted to clear over the coming days. And at least 4 people have been injured in London as several loose horses were seen running in the centre of the capital. There were reports of a number of collisions between the horses and vehicles, including one bus, after at least one rider was thrown from the saddle. One horse was seen trotting along a central London road covered in blood. The horses belonged to the Household Cavalry, one of the most senior regiments in the British Army, and became loose during a routine exercise, according to an army spokesperson. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Former world #1 Rafael Nadal says that he will only play at the upcoming French Open if he feels capable enough to compete well. The 14-time Roland Garros champion conceded that if the action in Paris were to kick off today, he would not be able to participate, but vowed to keep fighting for the chance to play at his most successful tournament one last time. The Spaniard is set to face 16-year-old American Darwin Blanche in his ATP Madrid Masters opener on Thursday. And the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, hosted Nigerian chess master Tunde Onokoya at the Lagos House in Ikeja today. This follows Onokoya's return from New York City, where he set a new Guinness World Record for the longest chess marathon of 60 hours. But Chess in Slums founder was warmly welcomed back to Nigeria after breaking the record for the longest ever chess marathon with a time of 60 hours. That sports is back to you, Ayotunde.
Many thanks, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today challenged the judiciary on internal reforms that focus on creating a new justice system that will respond to the needs of Nigerians and restore public trust. He gave this advice to judicial officers at the National Judicial Summit in Abuja, where he was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. That's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. You have a good night.